I'm just making music for y'all. Like, y'all know, like, I'm not signed anymore. They aren't with me because
Natasha Gail Zalot, aka Kreayshawn, born September 24th, 1989. Today's feature has to be the only artist I've heard of to have their debut album shipped to a clothing store for purchase. That store, Hot Topic, an alternative, punk, rock, and pop music inspired clothing brand and store that is aimed toward an audience interested in rock music and video gaming. If none of that makes sense, then in just the opening lines you understand the story of Kreayshawn, because that's exactly what her rap career ended up being, an adventure that 90% of the time didn't make any sense. In 2011, she somehow found herself dead center of the most popular genre in music to date with her viral hit song Gucci Gucci, that she explains was made to suggest to young girls to be yourself and not to wear brand names as a way to improve your self-esteem, but to be comfortable in your own skin, only to perform the song at times in the name brand attires like Gucci herself. But that was the late 2000s, early 2010s, lots of contradictions in hip-hop music where the rap game went through this weird phase of opposites. What was bad was actually now good, and what was good was seen as that's try hard and isn't very fun at the moment. Poor music like Lil B, Soulja Boy, Iggy Azalea, and swag rap in general was the new it thing, getting attention and going viral as much as can be in those times, replacing traditional hip-hop, as that would be around the last times rap music was actually rap. But don't forget Kreayshawn and her white girl mob, who in 2011 led the charge in what I call the troll rap era. Trolling was also a new thing at the time that took the same concept of the aforementioned artists, where flipping everything bad to good with a little humor to annoy as many people as possible was seen as entertaining. So an artist like Lil B or a white girl with no apparent connection to hip-hop at all could live in a space they were the biggest sensations of their times. Time is also a very important word, because if Kreayshawn came out today, she would arguably be a much bigger artist now that troll culture has reached maxed out heights, with trolls actually having the power of streaming to push any artist they want from the palm of their hands. But just as fast as Kreayshawn blew up, the air in her balloon screamed out and she was lost in the shuffle of the fast-moving last decade of hip-hop music. Her viral hit Gucci Gucci released June 2011. By 2012, her Hot Topic released debut album flopped, selling under 4,000 copies, and from there she faded to the background, even still owing her own label almost $1 million. What happened to this supposed to be rap sensation? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth Music. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Kreayshawn was a rapper from San Francisco, California that moved to Oakland at a young age. Her mother was also a musician, a part of many bands like the Trash Women and Spoiled Brats that shouted out a then 3-year-old Kreayshawn in 1992 and featured her on vinyl in 1994 with Kreayshawn freestyling at 5 years old. She found it difficult making her way to her high school classes, being expelled from multiple schools before eventually dropping out at 16 and later getting her GED. She'd get into video directing and is said to even direct a few videos for rapper Lil B, who inspired much of the troll rap artists of the early 2010s. This led to her taking her own rap career a bit more serious, jumping in the studio to record the mixtape Kitties and Choppers featuring the song Gucci Gucci that became an overnight sensation. Stunt number 1, signing to Columbia Records. Back in 2011, Kreayshawn had a lot going on for her, as she was the first viral white female rapper in a time where hip-hop was aligning itself more and more mainstream, so a rapper like Kreayshawn had an entire lane for herself to become as popular as she wanted to be. Many record labels saw this potential and began courting through bidding wars, with Columbia Records / Sony winning out, capitalizing off the next few months of the white girl mob fad. She was allegedly given nearly $1 million as an advance up front, to which she later revealed she never got the $1 million fully. The rest of the deal basically a 360, where the label recouped off everything Kreayshawn. During this time, I don't think Columbia saw a star in Kreayshawn, but more what we see today. The microwavable rapper with apparent mainstream likabilities but not enough talent to last longer than any normal trend every 6 to 12 months. Many believe Columbia didn't know what to do with Kreayshawn and how to market her, and while I do believe some of that was present, I think more of it has to do with them not believing in her talent as not just an artist, but as a rapper and her future in the rap game. Let's be honest, Kreayshawn cannot rap. Horrible actually. Hearing her live is even worse. Any objective mind that isn't caught up in the bright lights and fanfare surrounding her at the time could see that right off the bat. Anyone except her fans who blame the label for Kreayshawn not executing the plan to have longevity. Going back to her high school days, she was expelled multiple times for truancy, which literally means not showing up. She had a habit of being indecisive and making sporadic and spontaneous decisions, and that mixed with, yes, the label mishandling her, she quickly fell off. The label took 11 months to release her second single, Breakfast Syrup, featuring 2 Chainz. They also let her hottest moment go by without releasing her debut album, which did release September 2012 and flopped. Much because Columbia released it for digital download first, then a whole week later released physical copies but only available at Hot Topic. Her and the label's relationship deteriorated from there in a mix of them not knowing how to market her, not putting in the effort to figure it out, and Kreayshawn not clear on what she wanted to do. 12 years later, she says she still owes them $800K before she can receive any royalties, even off her hit song Gucci Gucci. Stunt number 2, dropped from the label. Another label issue for Kreayshawn was them attempting to turn her into a pop act instead of a rapper, thinking that would help give her longevity. According to her, the label attempted to essentially make her Katy Perry, demanding she take vocal lessons and dance classes, even instructing her to wear more hair extensions and heels to change her image. At that point, everyone involved were scrambling to keep the buzz going as Gucci Gucci cooled off, but when Kreayshawn began to refuse her label's direction, they punished her, as she says, releasing her album in an inopportune time without promotion, leading her to fail. After the album, she went on tour throughout the US, then a European tour, and somewhere during that time she got pregnant, attempting to use that as her escape from her label obligations. Frustrated with Kreayshawn not following the plan laid out, the label dropped her and cut all ties just a few days after she announced she was pregnant. Not having a label behind her and a new baby on the way, life changed for her, where music was no longer the focal point and she didn't release any new featured singles since 2012's Go Hard. Since then, she started a podcast and began blogging, but she really struggled to find footing in entertainment and just kinda disappeared. Stunt number 3, better in this era. Kreayshawn, for all intents, came out 10 years too early. Like mentioned, streaming wasn't a thing in 2011-2012, and there weren't many options known to artists to make independent money and not need a label. Without one, many saw their careers as pretty much finished, opposed to today where influence is the biggest commodity and streaming has made it to where you can be a one-hit wonder like Kreayshawn and still eat without a label behind you through SoundScan and places like TuneCore and others. An artist no longer has to wait to be pushed. In fact, it almost disables the artist to sign to a major label today unless there's a clear and concise plan on how to make you, the artist, bigger than what you can already do yourself with Twitter, Instagram, and control of your streaming sites and YouTube. One way Kreayshawn found to bring in revenue is OnlyFans, which she made in 2023. Had she come out now, she'd be a viral sensation and be pushed like the Caitlin Clark of rap music today, arguably being a top earner, talented or not. Today, it's all about marketing, personality, and as little as one viral moment/song. She had all those things, making her so much more suited for an era like today. Can she make a comeback? Well, she's only 34 years old and still has the charisma that made her popular in the first place, so who knows? All in all, Kreayshawn was a product of a trend and era, much like Lil B and troll artists like them like Iggy Azalea, Slim Jesus, and a bunch more that had a spark when they started, but musically not enough talent, work ethic, or fortunate label situation to last past the era they gained fame in. She at least had a hit song, something most people still love today, but for these reasons, her growth was stunted. Salute, much respect, it's your boy JC Stunted Growth Music, and I'm out.